Hey everybody, this is Jeff with AZ Boomer Adventure, and I'm going to show you how to make your own windsock for your GoPro. Stay tuned. Okay, so here are the things you're going to need to get. First of all, you're going to need to get a really fluffy, fuzzy sock. I got these at Dollar General, and I think I got two pairs for about $3.50 or something, or $3, something like that. And I've already used one and sort of made a prototype that worked pretty well. Uh, the nice thing about it is it has the elastic, and the elastic is what you want to help it hold onto your GoPro. Then I used a glue gun to reinforce around where the lens is, and it didn't come out that great, and it was kind of hard. Also, when I was starting to cut all this stuff and cut the sock up, I used scissors at first. That was a pain, and scissors did horrible, and the stuff flaked all over. It was not a good deal. Secondly, then I tried a razor knife. Now you can do that, and what I recommend doing is taking your razor knife and holding it down really firmly where you're going to try to cut and then cut across. I finally came up with the ultimate way to cut up the sock, and the ultimate way to cut up the sock is using this paper slicer. And I know not everybody's going to have one of these, but if you can find one somewhere, they work fantastic, and it does a much better job. So let me go through some of the things you're going to need. Now, if you're going to do cutting, you can use a razor knife. You probably want a piece of wood to hold things down. You're going to need your GoPro. I got a piece of wood that I'm going to use to hold the sock in place while I'm putting the glue in. I have my ND filters that I'm going to kind of use as also a reference because I want the hole in the sock to be big enough to handle the filters. If you have a marker, a silver marker, I used to have a silver marker that I don't know what happened. I lost it, dried out or something or other. I stole some craft paints from my wife, and I'm going to use those to make an outline of where I want to cut the hole for the lens. Then I'm going to try some glue this time. I got some wood glue. I don't have any regular Elmer's, so I'm going to just use some wood glue to create a little space or to reinforce the area around where the cut is. All right, so let's get to it. So first of all, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the sock, and what I want to do is I want to try to go up as high as I can into the heel here. I don't want to go up too high because then it starts kind of at the top. It'll look kind of funky when trying to, when you put it on your GoPro, and you don't want it hanging too low below. So what's going to happen is your GoPro is going to sit in it like this, and the elastic's going to go around the bottom, which is going to be nice, and then you're gonna cut up above it, and you're gonna stitch that closed. So first of all, oh, that's the other thing you need, is you're gonna need some thread and needle. But that's about it. Real simple, real basic, real easy to do. So first of all, I'm gonna cut this. So this is what's nice about having this to cut. It does a much cleaner job. I'm going to go in right about there. I want it to be straight as much across as possible. And then, so I go in and you just do short chops, and look at that. It just cut it nice and clean straight across. All right. You can hold on to this, use it if you want to use it later. You could try to make another one. You will get two socks, so I'm using the second sock at this point, but you could use this for something else. I don't know. If you want to make some little dead cats or something like that, you could do that. Okay, so now the next thing we want to do is we want to turn it inside out. All right, and you see it gets really kind of frayed here. This stuff just sort of starts popping off. We want to try to stop that. So we're going to take our thread and needle and start just going along the top here. I am not in any way a professional at sewing, so I'm just kind of doing this the old Boy Scout way and going through. All right. So now can turn it back, and we have beginning there. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the GoPro, we're going to put it inside. And I try to get it to kind of line up squarely on it. So let's see how it fits real nice at this point. And the elastic holds it on the bottom. Got your lens right here. So now what we want to do is we want to just sort of mark out where the lens is on there. So that's where I'm going to take this paint. Again, if you have a Sharpie, a silver Sharpie, that would probably work a lot better than doing this paint. But I had to come up with something because all the other pins and stuff that I have definitely wouldn't show up on the black. So I just needed something to mark an outline just like that. Okay. Okay, so I took the sock off the camera, and I've got my square here that I'm going to cut out. And so what I did is I have this piece of wood. I'm just going to put the sock on this piece of wood. It's going to stretch it out a little bit, which is good because that'll give me a little bit of room for my filter that goes on. So I'm going to do that. Now, one thing I forgot to tell you guys is you might want to get some thumbtacks, and I'm going to just put them in here to kind of help hold the sock down. See if that'll work. I don't know. I didn't do it last time. I thought about it. Let's see if it'll kind of help keep things from moving around. So now I have my knife here. I'm going to take this and I'm just going to carefully try to actually, you know what? I'm going to use a different X-Acto knife. I've got an X-Acto knife I'm going to use here. See if I can cut this a little bit easier. The stuff just wants to stretch and give, and really kind of a pain to cut. All right. Oops. So we're going to take this off. It's now turning into a circle. See if I can just, without cutting myself. This is the hardest part of the whole project, is just getting a nice square with this sock. It just wants to fray and come apart. And so we're gonna a little bit more. There we go. And I'm sure there are some crafty people out there that can do this a lot better than I can, but I'm not super crafty, so. All right. Done. So let's see what it does. So then what we're going to try to do is, well, it got a lot bigger than I wanted it to be. We're going to try to put the glue around this and get it to kind of stay in. But so it doesn't have to be super duper perfect, but enough that wind won't hit the mic. So now I have this other stick that I'm going to take, because I want to make it small enough. Again, it's not super duper pretty, but it will hopefully come together and sort of stay in place and make a nice area for the lens to come through. All right, let that dry. Okay, so I let this dry overnight, and it is kind of hard, and let's see what it looks like on the camera. So I'm going to pull the camera in here. These things kind of shed. It's shedding all over the place. Once you make those cuts in it, it wants to shed. Okay, so it's fitting around pretty good. Now let's see what the filter works on it. These are the filters I bought. You can see them in one of my other videos on the mic adapter and ND filters, and it fits on there nice and fine. And actually, it's kind of gripping the windsock in place. Okay, so but one of my fears is that I want to be able to use it without the filter too, without it holding it in place, and still be kind of tight around the lens. So I have an idea. I'm going to try to hammer this down a little bit, smooth it, flatten it out. Then I'm going to take some duct tape and create another barrier around it that we can cut out and create sort of a gasket type situation, so we can put different, leave it as it is or put the filters on. So we're going to give that a try. All right. Let's take that off. Not going to hammer the GoPro, going to hammer this. Probably be easier if I put it on a piece of wood. Because this is kind of sticky, bulky, sticking up. So let's see if we can break it down a little bit. It is holding the sock in place, and it's not shedding quite as much where I made my cuts, but it is kind of breaking my little area apart a little bit as I do this. So that's why I think the duct tape will kind of help hold everything in place. So let's see. All right. So now let's get some duct tape. Don't need too much, just a square about that big. All right, that's one. And that's two. All right, so let's put the inside in, the one on the inside first. So I'm going to turn this inside out. Put that on there. Okay, let's bring it around again. Voila. Probably should have made that one a little bit bigger. We'll put this one like so. I want to make sure that inside part really sticks. Oh yeah, I'm liking that. Okay, let's see what happens if I put this on here. And let's see if we can just cut. Corners don't want to give up. All right, now let's see how that does. Okay. It's going around the lens okay. Now let's see if we can put the filter on there. Look at that. Boom. Nice. We are ready to go. So that is our Windsock. I'm going to show you some video before and after and what it sounds like.
All right, so this is test one without the Windsock that I created. Test one without the Windsock. Okay, this is riding the same direction. Test two with the Windsock I created. Test two with the Windsock I created.
Okay, so that's our DIY Windsock for your GoPro. And, you know, definitely under even $5. I would say definitely under $10 for sure. And easy to do. And you can make multiples because you get multiple socks when you buy those socks at the Dollar General. Or you can also check out, you know, the dollar store or any inexpensive place to get socks. And you want to get the really fuzzy, fluffy socks. I ended up destroying one of my dog's toys trying to get the faux fur and make one, and it was just too much detail. If you just get a sock, boom, it has the elastic. It'll help keep it in place, ready to go. Sew it on top, cut your hole. I liked the glue, but I probably wouldn't use as much glue. Let it dry, then use some duct tape. Works out perfect. All right. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you on the trail. Remember, the adventure never ends for a boomer. Thanks.